Hello, my name is Aubrey Foster. I live in Dunn Springs, Louisiana, and I want to share with you today my testimony. It began last October. I was working full-time in the insurance business and got sick. My health had been going down for quite some time, and I was admitted to the hospital, and they began to run tests, different things. I was passing out, having pretty severe chest pains, and different things going on, and my doctors began to tell me that they thought I had some rare form of cancer, and that didn't look good. Needed to have a biopsy done, surgery done. My lungs were filled up with fluid. I had fluid built up around my heart. Anyway, long story short, I wound up having surgery and having my lungs drained, my lungs collapse. The day of my surgery, about 4 o'clock that morning, I was just really stressed about what was going on. Didn't know if this was where my life would end and how it would end. My doctors wasn't really giving me a whole lot of hope. Anyway, when I went to bed that night at the hospital and laid my head on the pillow and pulled the covers up around me, those thoughts were dominating my mind, thoughts of fear. I knew that I was saved, I knew I was going to heaven, but I wasn't so sure about if it was going to be now. It certainly did look to be that it was going to be sooner than later. And I went to sleep that night with that pressing hard upon my heart, my spirit. About 4 o'clock the next morning, I woke up with 12 angels in my room singing. Now, I'm not one to, tell stories about angels or whatever, but this was real, folks. I was wide awake. I wasn't under any medication or anything, and I just woke up out of a dead sleep, and these 12 angels in my room singing. They were singing full of grace, full of glory, full of joy. And I just thought within my heart and my spirit as I looked at this and listened to them sing that they were coming after me, and it was my time. It was time for me to go. And I began to beg them and to ask them to take me with them. And they didn't say nothing. They just kept on singing. The more they sang, the louder they got. And every time I think about it, it makes me want to cry. Anyway, the angels continued to sing, and the more they sang, I begged them to take me with them, but they wouldn't say anything. I began to notice that right in the middle of the angels was my nephew. You may find this rather odd and unusual, but my nephew, who at age of 2 years old back in early 1970s, had been killed tragically. A house fell on him, and he was there in the middle of those 12 angels. And I just knew it was him. I don't know how I knew it. I just knew it. And they said nothing. About that time, a master angel came into the picture, and he had thousands of angels with him. He was the only one on horse. The rest of them had wings. And they all began to sing, and the more they sang, the louder it got, and the fire of God was everywhere. It was so much fire, I couldn't determine who this angel was. I couldn't tell who it was because of the fire and what I described as the wisdom of God at the time. And anyway, I began to beg and ask him to take me with him and with these angels. I thought it was time for me to go. And he looked right at me and he said, no. He said, I'm extending your life. I don't understand all that means, but I do know this. I know he extended my life that day. I don't know how long. I think I do, but I don't have the liberty to share it. But I do know that my life was extended. Went in intensive care and stayed there for several days. Stayed in a hospital over 3 months. Most recently, I've been diagnosed with what's called amyloidosis. It's a big term. basically it's a protein that the body makes, and the liver is supposed to take this protein out of your body. And if it doesn't, then there can be some pretty serious complications. It stores itself in organs like your heart, your lung, your liver, your kidneys. Very rare disease. And my doctors here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, have just recently diagnosed me with this, and they're sending me to the Mayo Clinic down in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm going down there April 8th, 2011. And there they are supposed to advise me as far as treatment. The treatment could range anywhere from a bone marrow transfusion, where they take all your bone marrow out some kind of way and they wash it and cleanse it, put it back in, all the way to a heart transplant. And then also treatment involves radiation and chemotherapy. And I don't understand all there is to understand about this. What I've read and done research on it doesn't sound real good. Life expectancy is not real long. But I have this confidence, I have this peace in my heart that I know that God has extended my life. I don't know how long, I think I do, but anyway, I know He's extended my life. I wanted to just share with you briefly today a little bit about my testimony. My family is trying to do a fundraiser to help me a little bit. I want to share with you that God is taking care of us. He's when this master angel looked at me and he told me no, I couldn't go with him. He was extending my life. He was sending me back here to share with everybody I could the great things He had done in my life that early morning. And I want to share with you, I want to encourage you that God's grace is sufficient. He's going to help you. He's going to bless you. Your prayers as you've been praying, God's heard your prayers. I was very discouraged the night before. But I'm telling you, when that angel spoke to me, that fire, the fire of God began to burn. It came into my eyes first, went all through my head and my upper body, all the way down my legs and out my feet. Many have asked me, they said, Aubrey, did God heal you? I believe I am healed. I believe the Bible declares that by His stripes we're healed. But my healing is coming. I don't know how to describe it. It's here and it's coming. I hope you can understand that. I know one thing. I know that God's extended my life. I know that I want others to see His beauty and His strength, His life through me. Sometimes Christ can only shine through the cracks. If this is His way of demonstrating His life through me, then so be it. I want you. I want anyone that listens to this video to know that He is sufficient, that His life is real, that heaven is real. Now I want to conclude with this about my little nephew, David Dewey. David was killed tragically. His dad and his dad's brother would tear down an old house in Elmer, Louisiana. A wind come up and the house blew down, killed my brother-in-law's brother. And my sister and little David and some others were around in front of the house, and Bob heard Fern screaming, went around there, and the front beam of the house had caught this little 2-year-old boy, my nephew, right across the shoulders. They say it broke every bone in his body. He died that day on the way to the hospital. I'd always question, I knew, but I'd always question, Lord, why did you allow this tragedy in his life? That day in that hospital, when those 12 angels showed up and he was there, the Spirit of God said to my spirit that he had a special assignment for little David, just 2-year-old boy. And he needed David for this special assignment. And he said, little David's done a good job. I want you to go back to the earth and do a good job on the assignment that I'm sending you on. My assignment is to you. Is to you. Some kind of way you come across this video. I hope it blesses you. Hope it encourages you. My phone number is posted there. You can call me if you'd like. I'll talk with you. Pray with you. Whatever you need. Anytime, day or night, I'll be available. The rest of my life, I come home from that hospital. I told my family, each one of them, that the rest of my life would be spent sharing this testimony. I don't know what's going to happen at the Mayo Clinic. Well, I don't know yet how I'm going to get there. But I know this. I know my God's worked out the details. I thank you for your prayers and your support. Many of you, I was your pastor for years. I pastored 35 years. I hope to pastor again sometime in the future. But if you'd like me to come to your church and share with your congregation or to your home and share with the group that you get together at your home, the only thing you need to do is call me. I just want to share what God has done. If you've never invited the Lord Jesus into your heart, I want you to do so today. If you lost a child, you don't understand, I want you to know. I want you to know that heaven is real. And just as my little nephew, little David, tragically killed at 2 years old, has been on a special assignment in heaven. Part of that assignment was to come in that hospital room that morning, bringing me words of encouragement, extending my life. If you've lost a child, I want you to know heaven is real. Heaven is real. Give the Lord Jesus Christ your heart today. I'm not concerned what denomination you are, Baptist, Catholic, Methodist, whatever. I could care less about any of that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you for your time today. I trust that you'll contact me. If possible, I'd love to come to your church and share with your church and your family what great things God's doing in my life. Thank you.